Let's talk about Book 4. By this time, the children who are using this book will probably be towards the end of their first year at school, the end of grade 1. There might be some that are already in grade 2, and some may still be struggling with the first books. It doesn't make a difference because we believe that children must make progress at their own pace. We start off with number sentences that are visually expressed by means of chocolates, blocks of chocolates. Again, we pay attention to the fact that both sides of the number sentence are equivalent, so the emphasis is on equivalence. At the bottom of the page, children can choose their own numbers to form their own equivalent sentences. On page 2, we deal with groups of bananas that always add up to 12, and that is reinforced at the end of the counting exercise, that 12 can be made of groups of 2, groups of 4, groups of 3s, and groups of 6s. There is a number chain to be completed in 3s, followed by a number line with a gap of 3 between 2 consecutive numbers. On page 3, children have to do some abstract counting with coins, certain amounts of money. There is a number chain, and at the bottom of the page is an interesting exercise. There is a figure with drawings that resemble flights of stairs, but there are different flights of stairs. And we ask children on the next page to redraw the 3 types of steps that they saw on the previous page. So this could actually be an exercise in memory to see whether they can still remember what the stairs looked like. At the same time, it puts the emphasis on the structure of the figure, so that they must go back to the structure to notice that every time it increases by 1, and then the steps, first 1, then 2 blocks, then 3 blocks, so they consider the structure when they try to recall. Here, the numbers are again decomposed into 2 smaller numbers. At the end of this page, we ask, how much is 7 plus 6, and how do you know? Young children find it quite difficult to articulate their own reasoning or their own thinking. But if we never require it from them, then they will never learn how to do it. So please take time and ask the children, how did they think to get this answer? There are quite a number of different ways in which you can add 7 and 6. Take the time and let the children discuss the clever plans that they make. On page 6, we decompose the number 11 in 2 smaller different numbers. So we start to think about numbers as the composite of 2 smaller numbers. So we start off with 11 in different ways. On page 7, we start with unstructured counting, and then we go back to the number 11 that we have broken down into smaller numbers. So we repeat that exercise here by working systematically with all the different additives that will make up 11. At the bottom of the page is an interesting exercise. Children are required to redraw the rectangles on the grid. Some of them might notice that one of the rectangles is actually a square. They might ask the question, but is a square a rectangle That is a very valid and a very interesting question, because it might be the first exercise in defining a geometric figure. What is the definition of a rectangle? When is a quadrilateral a rectangle? The short answer is when the quadrilateral has two opposite sides that are equal, two pairs of opposite sides that are equal, and 90-degree angles all around. According to that definition, the square fits the definition of a rectangle because the square has four sides, the two opposite sides are equal, and the angles are all 90-degree right angles. So, square can be considered as a special kind of rectangle. It is not necessary that you go into this discussion, but if learners raise the question, this might be a very interesting discussion with them. On page 8, we have to do some abstract counting with coins. There is a number chain. We count in fives, flow diagrams, number chain, counting in twos, counting in sixes, counting in fours, counting in threes, and it's followed up by the tables in threes, fours, twos, and sixes. On page 12, we break down 13 into different smaller numbers. So we think about 13 as being composed of two smaller numbers in more than one way. Note the number line where children are required to place 8 on the correct place. Now, they might do a small calculation. They might be able to subitize in some way to see that it'll be 4 from 4, and then to put 6 in its correct place. On page 13, they have an opportunity to subitize again, to do clever counting by counting the number of blocks in each strip, but they have to show how they think. And then we go back to 13, breaking down 13 in different ways. On page 14, we introduce the learners to the concept of a grid. We will often make use of grids in the rest of the series, especially when children start to multiply, because a grid is a good way of showing a multiplication of two numbers. A 10 by 6 grid, 6 by 2. So here the emphasis is on how do we name a grid. Number chains make the sides equal. So here again we think of equivalent sentences in different ways. On page 16, we count pencils in groups of 8, groups of 5, groups of 10, crayons in groups of 4. So all of them add up to 40. So that makes us think about all the groups that can make up 40. Counting in 5s and 10s and completing a number sequence. On page 18, children have to count the apples in different boxes. If they watch carefully, they might notice that we have groups of 6 and 4 that are grouped together. So that will make up 10, which makes it easier to count. In mathematics, we like to make clever plans to be able to do things in an easier way. That helps with the development of mathematics and clever plans, clever strategies to make things easier. Here we introduce the block towers. This is simply to show children how to make block towers. We will make use of that later in this book. Bananas, again, grouped in 4s, 2s, 6s, and 3s to give us 12. Followed by a number chain. Again, we meet the commutative property of numbers that can change around. 3 times 4, 4 times 3 gives the same. Page 20 is an interesting exercise. Children have to write only the correct number in all the open blocks. They might realize that they are dealing with the multiples of 3. They are actually counting in 3s, and they have to rewrite the sequence at the bottom of the exercise. Unstructured counting, followed by number chain. This is quite a difficult pattern to have to copy the wave pattern on a grid. But children have to consider the structure. Again, in this case, they have to look carefully at how the wave is formed, how many blocks going up, how many blocks to the right, to be able to redraw this wave pattern. So talk to them about the structure of the wave and the grid. On page 23, we decompose 9 sweets in a specific way, but then they are required to do the same with 16 in more than one way. Here we have to count apples again in boxes that are not filled up, make the sides equal, and decompose the numbers 15 and 14 in different ways. We do get enough exercise in practicing the number bonds, especially the ones more than 10. Here we have to count the coins, followed by an exercise where they have to make up 15 rand in different ways with 5 rand, 2 rand, and 1 rand coins. A very good exercise. Complete the number sequences, number names, number chains in 3s, 5s, and 6s. Counting cherries in 3s, 2s, 5s, and we get to 30 every time. And here is another way to show 30, 3 10s or 10 3s. And here we have again an illustration of the distributive property. Those 3 times 6 plus 2 times 6 is the same as 5 times 6. So it is 30 that is portrayed in a different way. Counting 5s in 3s, followed by the number sequences. Here we have to decompose 16 into 2 smaller numbers, in more than one way, of course. And when we follow up by making the sides equal, using 16 as the anchor. Doubling. And here is another interesting structural question. Children can count the dots, but the dots are colored in a way that they can recognize that we find a square if we add consecutive odd numbers. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 4. And if I add 5, which is the next odd number, I get 9. And if I add 7, the next odd number, I get 16. So if we add consecutive odd numbers, we always end up in a square. Quite a beautiful illustration. Number names, counting in 5s, followed by a number chain in 5s, doubling, halving, counting in 6s, in 8s, And then again, we get to clever counting, where children can subbatize if they can, to make it easier to count the number of blocks in a strip. Remember to talk to the children about the plans they have made. Here we have bananas again in 2s, in 4s, in 3s, in 6s, counting in 2s, counting in 3s, counting in 4s, counting in 6s, and every time we end up with 48. There's 48, 4 by 12, 12 4s or 4 12s. Counting in 10s. An interesting little problem. You have to count the chickens, and then how many do you still need to get to 20? And some more little word problems that are quite simple, but children can make different plans to solve them. Adding coins, amounts of money, number chain, and on page 38 we get our first exercise in block towers, where children have to show the number sequences starting with 6, going up in 2s, and starting with 1, going up in 3s. We ask them to draw the block towers of the first 7 numbers, but what we want children to notice is that even though this block tower starts way ahead of this one will grow slower because it grows with 2s every time, while this one grows by 3 at a time. So it's interesting to know which one will reach, let's say, 50 first. Let children notice the rate at which the number sequences grow, because that is the mathematical intent of the block towers. Page 39, we decompose 19 in different smaller numbers in different ways. The activity on page 40 is quite an interesting one. We have done quite a lot of work on multiples of numbers when we counted the cherries, the bunches of cherries, the bunches of bananas, etc., that were grouped in different ways. If we go down to the bottom of this page, we notice that they go up. There are groups of 2, groups of 3. Unfortunately, the PDF page in this book doesn't show the lines clearly, but you can ask children to draw them themselves. And if they use a little ruler to show there, for instance, if I go with 6, then I can see 6 can be made of 2s, and 6 can also be made up of 3s. And if I go on, I will see that 6s will end up 12, and 12 can be also made up of 2s, 3s, 4s, 6s. So this is actually an exercise in recognizing common multiples by taking a little ruler and going up along this type of a grid pattern. It takes quite a long time to notice it, but it might be a very good idea if you spend some time with your learners on this page.